Hello everyone, Nadeem here with PC.Solutions.Net. So today I'm going to give you 10 tips to keep cybercriminals out while COVID keeps you in. All right, let's jump right to it. So here we go. These are the 10 tips. Just follow these and you will have less to worry about. These 10 simple things will keep you safe. So one of the first things is you want to get the facts. So there's always some kind of new rumor going around. This is happening, that is happening. The world is always coming to an end. But don't pay attention to the rumors. Get to the facts. Get to the source. So that's the first thing. Second thing, all of us get emails, and we get a ton of them, right, during the day. A lot of them are coming from friends or people we know. What we are seeing is that more and more emails that come from people we know are coming from accounts that have been compromised. So even though an email is coming from somebody you know, that doesn't mean that that person actually sent the email. That just means that somebody who has access to that account sent the email. And a lot of times the bad guys will compromise an account and then send an email out to everybody in that person's contacts, because the chances of somebody opening an email or clicking a link is much higher when you know the person the email is coming from. So be careful. Don't click on stuff. If you get that funny joke with a link, don't click it. I mean, I know. It's these simple things, but believe me, a lot of hacks and intrusions happen because people don't follow these simple things. The other thing is be suspicious of unexpected attachments. So a lot of times, you'll get an email where the body of the message is slightly odd compared to the attachment that's in there. Or it may cause an urgency for you to open that attachment. And it doesn't fail. Every time I've seen people, the bad guys will create a sense of urgency, and that's how they want you to click. They'll make you do what they want you to do is by creating that sense of urgency. Whether it's somebody calling you saying that they're calling from the sheriff's office with warrants for your arrest because you owe IRS the money, or whether it's just an email with somebody trying to sell you something and or they want to buy a service from you. I'll give you a good example that happened actually earlier today. I'll talk about that towards the end. So automate compliance. So one last thing you'll have to worry about is if you have a system that will automatically prevent users from doing certain things. So automate as much as you can. One of the things that I like to say is that if there is something that involves intelligence, thinking, let a human do it. Anything else, automate it. So, and that's what we try to do internally is anything that's repetitive, automate it. Same thing you want to do with policy, automate it, and that way you have less to worry about. Number 5 is passwords. So, a lot of the browsers already have password managers built in. In this day and age, we need to go a step further, right? So we need to get into where we have maybe third-party applications, password managers that are not only secure, but one of the main things that I get from our customers is, hey, Nadeem, we have these password managers and we're using them, but I want to be able to send company-wide credentials to multiple people in different departments. So in other words, you might have a vendor and that vendor only has one account for you to pull up reports, and you want to send that one set of credentials to a bunch of people in the company. Well, you can do that if you have a good password manager in place. So that will allow you to push those credentials out to other people company-wide. So you want to do that. Number 6, beware of strange networks. So and this is more of an education process for end users. Users might be working from, they might be sitting in their car outside of a McDonald's or a Starbucks, and they might be working, or they might be sitting outside in the lounge at the Starbucks and working from there. They're on public networks, and you got to be mindful of that. You need to make sure that your users have some sort of VPN connectivity or some sort of security around that, because it's very easy for the bad guys to snoop traffic, basically, look at traffic and capture traffic and see what's going on. All right, number 7, two-factor authentication. Uh, Everybody should have it. Every app out there should have two-factor authentication. If you're logging into Windows, have two-factor. If you're logging into your email, have two-factor. Anything you log into in this day and age, there's just no getting around that. Look, folks, it has to happen. So an easy way to do this would be to have one portal where you two-factor into that one portal, and then that one portal will take you to all your different properties that you have, digital properties, I mean. So you log into one portal, and then from there you can go to your email, you can log into your machine in the cloud, you can log into a few of your vendor sites, you can log into, Facebook, Twitter, whatever have you. But that one portal is protected via two-factor authentication. So that's very important in this day and age. Number 8, you want to keep an eye on the bad guys, and an easy way to do that is to just monitor the dark web, the underweb. Monitor if any credentials are going on sale. So, a lot of times users have left the company, and then you see that their credentials are for sale on the dark web. And what happens is, these users who are no longer with the company, they might have opened a Twitter account with the same password that you use for their email. So they might have opened a Twitter account or a Facebook account on behalf of your company. And if they're no longer there and their credentials are compromised, the bad guys can really ruin a company's reputation that way. So if you have a central portal that is getting you to these Twitter or Facebook or any kind of a third-party accounts, then that makes it easier to control as a company-wide, enterprise-wide. It makes it easier to control when these people are let go or these people leave the company. There are no credentials just hanging out in cyber world out there, right? Number 9, stay current. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that your IT team is always on top of security patches and security alerts that come out. Microsoft, Apple, Google, all these companies, they have a whole security team, and this security team spends a lot of time and resources on identifying threats and then letting us as IT companies know what these threats are so that we can go out and protect our customers. So whoever your IT management team is, you want to make sure that they stay on top of these threats. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is a lot of companies are now going out and getting cyber insurance, right? But what you may not realize is that part of that cyber insurance clause might be that you have to be current on your patches, right? Security patches. So we've had situations where somebody would file against their cyber insurance, and then the cyber insurance guys will come out and say, the insurance will ask you, okay, well, we want to see your corporate policy for patching. And the policies are always very good, right? Oh, we patch every day, every day, all day. But then when they're looking for actual data to show how often you've been patching, they come back and say, okay, well, we just patch on a quarterly basis. And we've seen time and time again, those insurance requests will get denied because you have to be current on those security patches, right? The final item is ask for help. So if you do get compromised, I've encountered this a few times, and that's why I say this: don't try to Google how to fix the problem and try to fix it yourself. Go to a specialist this is all they do. They do this day in and day out. They know these threats. They know the path to take. A lot of times you try to fix some of these threats yourself. The threats are intelligent enough where they will detect somebody's trying to tamper with them, and they will do more damage than good. So, and ultimately you may end up doing more damage. So folks, don't try to fix things yourself. If you are on top of things and you've been doing it for a while and you know how to handle certain threats, then by all means go ahead and do it. If not, get a professional. Now, if it's a home machine and something's happened, you can always take a machine to the Microsoft store. They will look at it for free. They might even clean it for free. They'll repair it, So it doesn't matter if you bought the machine from the Microsoft store or not. As long as it's running Windows, you can take it to the Microsoft store and have them look at it. So guys, I'm not saying bring it to us. I'm just saying get professional help. Now, one of the interesting things that happened, you have the 10 steps, but one of the interesting things that happened is a few days ago, this guy by the name of Alex approached me. He's a Gmail, and he says he's traveling, and his sister owns a beauty shop, and he wants to create a website. I'm like, okay, it happens. All right. Well, you're using Gmail, but there was kind of like a little thing kind of, bugging me. Why Gmail? But anyway, I said, okay. So we talked for a little bit. I sent him an estimate how much it's going to cost to build this website for his sister's beauty business. And he gave me some inspirational sites, what he wants to be. And it was like a 20-page website. And I'm like, okay. So I sent him an estimate. And part of the deal was he said that his graphics designer is going to design all the graphics and send it to me. So finally, today, just earlier today, he responded back to my quote and he says, if it's okay that he write me a check, and if I can deposit it ahead of time so that payment does not get delayed. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Now you're gonna send me a check. That's okay. And then he says, yes, and the money for the graphic designer, if you can pay from that check, so I only have to do one check. That was the big red flag. That's what gave it away. I knew where this was going to go. I at that point I just broke it off and I reported it as a phishing scam to Microsoft. So here's how this scam works. So they will want to buy a service, a product or service from us, and they will say there is a third party that has to be paid, and if we can do them a favor and pay this third party from the check that they're going to send us. So we're thinking, oh, we're going to get a check for this huge amount, and then we have to pay the third party that they are trusting us. They're not. So you get a check. That check is going to take 10 days to clear the bank, and they're going to demand that you pay their graphics guys, in this case, like the second day or the third day. So you make a payment to the graphics guys, and then the check bounces. So you see what happened? Even if you check through your web app or your smartphone app and log into your banking information, it's going to show you that whatever amount they sent you the check for, that it is going to show against that account. But that does not mean it has cleared. Again, the app on your phone for your bank may show you how much money you deposited via check, but that does not mean that it has cleared the bank. And these bad guys are going to demand that you send that money to their third party before that time frame, the bank clearing happens. Typical scam. And I wanted to kind of play around with this guy, but I was like, I don't have time for it. I was working on some other stuff, so I didn't have time for it. But anyway, so guys, these kind of scams happen. I could have very easily gotten scammed by this because, in the back of my mind, it's like, okay, well, it's it's a small project, but hey, it's easy, I can get this done. But the red flag, sending that money out to a third party, his graphics designer, which it's a known scam, So guys, don't fall for things like this. It happens all the time. And so these 10 tips will keep you safe. So until tomorrow, everybody, have a good day and be safe out there.